Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? Happy Halloween! I hope you guys are having a great week. It's Wednesday, hump day is over, and I hope you guys had some adorable costumes show up at your door, or you had a great Halloween party to go to. I don't do much on Halloween, but I did dress up my kids, so I'm going to show you guys some pictures of Baxter, Blanche, and Berkeley, just in case you guys are not following me on Instagram, because they are too cute not to share with the world. They are just adorable. And as you can probably tell, Baxter was over it, Blanche was philosophical, and Berkeley is just a big goofball. So there you go. What am I doing today? Today it's time to finish my book haul for the month of October. So this is part 2 of that. All of the books that are in this part of the book haul I have purchased myself. And there's quite a stack. So I probably should get started because it could take a while to get through them all. And I'm super excited to start with a book of poetry, something that I don't highlight a ton on my channel, but I really should. And this is Don't Call Us Dead by Danez Smith. And this was shortlisted for the National Book Award in Poetry. And it won, I believe it's called the Folio Prize, which our friend Jen Campbell was one of the judges for. And she has a phenomenal interview with Danez Smith on her channel. So go check it out. This is how I'm going to tell you guys to get into this collection if you're looking for something. I'm going to read you Roxane Gay's blurb on the back. You know how I feel about Roxane Gay. And she says, "This book is poetry as fierce fire. There is such intelligence and fever in these poems about black men and their imperiled bodies, gay man and their impassioned bodies, what it means to be HIV positive, and so much more. Every poem impressed me, and the level of craft here is impeccable." Now, it's a weird size, so I'm trying to hold it up. That cover is amazing. I have flipped through this a couple times thinking, oh, I think I'm going to pick it up. It's so good, you guys. So I think if you're looking for poetry to get into, Don't Call Us Dead by Danez Smith may be a great place to start. There you go. The next two books that I am going to go through for you are from one of my favorite small presses, Unnamed Press. I bought these couple of books just, they were having a sale, I think for their anniversary or their 50th book published. So I picked up 2. The first is Tacky, Goblin by Steele. This is a tiny little book, but kind of a fun cover, right? And this is the story of, let me get his name right. This is the story of a young man who is leaving Chicago. He moves to Los Angeles to live with his sister, Kim. And he's making new friends and new love interests, but something haunts him. And I love that it says that Kim may be either his answer to get him out of his funk, or maybe she's just going to lead him into hell. I've heard this book is a rip-roaring good time, and I hear it's funny. That's all hearsay, but Unnamed Press has never let me down. That cover is too much fun. And so this is Tacky, Goblin by Steele. There you go. The next book, actually, I heard a review of, I want to say, over on my friend Kendra Winchester's podcast with, oh my God, do you ever have those blanks? The Reading Women. There you go. The Reading Women. And they did talk about Mem by Bethany C. Morrow. Now, this is a science fiction book. I am always so cautious when I try to summarize science fiction, so I'm actually going to read you the blurb on this one. It says, "The roaring 20s are in full swing, and technological advancements have led to a rather unusual but fashionable practice. The elites of Montreal are having unpleasant memories extracted from their minds, but the memories exist as mirror images of their source, creatures known as memes. Elsie, otherwise called Dolores Extract Number 1, is the first meme with the ability to create her own memories. She is granted special privileges and allowed to live on her own in the city, away from the vault where all the other memes are kept. That is, until the day she is suddenly summoned back." I think that sounds so good. I think that this is just a beautiful cover. And, Unnamed Press does not do hardcovers, and this is a hardcover. And I think it's because, look, just look at this, you guys. Look at that. So if you haven't heard about it, you definitely should pick it up. I think it's out in paperback as well. And I just think it's too beautiful. So that's Meme by Bethany C. Morrow. Unnamed Press, knocking it out of the park, I promise you. Now we're going to go a little nonfiction, and that is how to write an autobiographical novel, Essays by Alexander Chee. Now, I follow Alexander Chee on Twitter. I absolutely adore him. And this is his first collection of essays. And it says in the blurb here in the side that it's sort of his manifesto on the entanglements of life, literature, and politics. And if he, in just essay form, is as intelligent as I think he is via Twitter, I think these are going to have a lot of power. And I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this essay collection. So that's How to Write an Autobiographical Novel, Essays by Alexander Chee. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about a couple books that I have a feeling you haven't heard of. I don't think that they've gotten a lot of press. So here's where I'm going to say, get out your pen and your paper, get out your Goodreads, because I think both of these could land on a bunch of your guys' TBRs. And the first is Man by Kim Thuy, and this is translated by Sheila Fishman, and I was hoping, and it's translated from the French, which for some reason surprised me that the original was in French, but I have no idea why. This is the story of Mam. It says that she has three mothers. She has the mother that birthed her, the nun that found her in the vegetable patch, and then the woman that she calls mother who raises her. And what that woman does for her is not only raise her, but also marries her to a man in Canada. And, there's probably the French part, Montreal. There's where it comes from. See, it all comes together eventually for me. And she marries a man, and she discovers that she is very talented. He's a chef, and she's a very talented chef. Her life is sort of going along until she meets another man who sees, it says she encounters a married chef in Paris, and she discovers the obsession of ever-present danger in a love affair. So, one, that cover, again, fantastic. Two, I have not read much literature this year out of Canada, so I'm super excited for that. Translated from the French. So this is Kim Thuy's Man, translated by Sheila Fishman. And that cover. Okay, and then this is another book that I picked up because of the cover, and then once I read the blurb, you guys are going to want this one. So this is Man with a Seagull on His Head by Harriet Paige. And this is out from Biblioasis, which is out of Windsor, Ontario. I do not know them at all. And that just seems, after I tell you what this book is about, this is about a man who is just going through life. He just knows there's nothing interesting about him. And he hears that there's a bomb off the shore of where he lives, and he goes out because the bomb has to be interesting, right? And a seagull hits him on the head and knocks him out. And at the time that happens, he is staring at a woman who is standing at the sea. And what he does is when he wakes up, he starts to create art with this woman as the focus, and he becomes famous for these portraits of this woman. And then one day, the woman on the beach finds his work and realizes that she is his inspiration, and then wonders if maybe a man she's never met who paints her knows her better than anyone else in her life. All of that sounds so good to me. So that is Man with a Seagull on His Head by Harriet Paige. I think that cover is fantastic. Go Biblioasis. I don't know why I have never heard of you, but that is shame on me. There you go. Okay, five more. Let's get through. This is The Third Hotel by Laura Vandenberg, and this is her second novel, I believe. And this had a lot of press, and it rightly sounds freaking amazing. So this is the story of Claire. Claire's husband has passed away, and she goes to Havana, Cuba, to a film festival that he wanted to go to. He was a horror film aficionado or professor or something like that. Scholar, a horror film scholar. And she's there and she's watching a film that her husband had told her he thought was going to change film. And she walks out, and there is her husband in a suit, a man who is supposedly dead. And this is her following her husband around Havana, Cuba, trying to figure out everything and also coming to realizations regarding her own relationship. Does that not sound amazing? So this is The Third Hotel by Laura Vandenberg. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't read this yet, but it's blurred by Lauren Groff, Garth Greenwell, Miriam Towes. Clearly, I maybe need to move this up my list like yesterday. So there you go. Okay, the next book that I actually have wanted to start for a while, and it's been sitting in this pile to tell you guys about, is The Golden State by Lydia Kiesling. Sorry, Lydia. And this is a debut novel as well. But I'm going to read it to you because I think the blurb does better than I can. Daphne is a young mother, and she's on the edge of a breakdown. So she flees her life in San Francisco, and she moves to this fictional high desert northern town of California called Alta Vista with her young daughter, toddler, Honey. She's buckling under the weight of being a single parent because her Turkish husband, due to an error, is not allowed back in the country. So it says here, but clarity proves elusive as she's trying to find it in this town. So over the next 10 days, Daphne is anxious. She behaves a little erratically. She drinks too much. She wanders the town looking for anyone and anything to punctuate the long hours alone with her baby. Among other people, she meets Cindy, a neighbor who is active in the state of Jefferson secession movement, and befriends the elderly Alice, you know how I am for a book with an old woman in it, who has traveled to Alta Vista as she approaches the end of her life. When Daphne's relationships with these women culminate in a dangerous standoff, she must reconcile her inner narrative with the reality of a deeply fractured America. I've heard nothing but great things about that. I just read that blurb again. It makes me want to read this book so bad. So that's The Golden State by Lydia Kiesling. And this is out. And I got this at Green Apple Books. And yes, signed. So excited about that. So there you go. Okay. The next book I picked up, basically on the recommendation of Simon Savage, is HeartBreaker by Claudia Dey. I know nothing about this book other than he said it was amazing. And so it's 1995. Pony Darlene Fontaine has lived her 15 years in the Territory, a settlement founded decades ago by a charismatic cult leader. In this strange town run on a sinister economic resource, the women crimp their hair and wear shoulder pads, and the teenagers listen to Nazareth and Whitesnake on their Walkmans. Pony's family lives in a bungalow at the farthest edge of town, where the Territory borders the rest of the wider world, a place none of the townspeople have ever been. There's more to this blurb, but I don't need any more because one, Simon said to read it, and two, that sounds so good. So that's HeartBreaker by Claudia Dey. God, and that cover's kind of cool too. I really like it. Okay, this book probably needs no introduction. This is an absolutely remarkable thing by Hank Green. Hank Green is the brother of John Green, and this book was really everywhere before it was anywhere. And this is a YA novel. This is about Alice. No, is it Alice? April May. One day, her and her friend are out, and they find this statue, which they describe in the blurb as a transformer in samurai armor. And she does a video, and it goes viral. And the next day that you find out, a number of these statues are around the world. And seizing this opportunity to make her mark, April starts to investigate what all of these are about. And it says she now has to deal with the consequences of this particular brand of fame on her relationship, safety, and identity, as all eyes are on her to figure out what these statues are, which are called Carls. My friend Julie really raved about this book. I've seen sort of mixed reviews, but I really like John Green, so I'm willing to give it a go. So this is an absolutely remarkable thing by Hank Green. If you've read that one, I'd be interested to know what you guys think, because it has really gotten such mixed reviews from my friend group. Raves or it was fine. That's what I've got. But I'm excited about it, so I'd love to hear. The last book in this list is going to be Whiskey and Ribbons, a novel by Leesa Cross-Smith. I picked this up. I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, because of Kendra Winchester and Autumn over at the Reading Women. They really loved this book. So I'm going into it pretty much blind, but I know that the main character is Evie. She's a ballerina, and she was 9 months pregnant when her husband was killed on the line of duty. Now it's winter, and her adopted brother Dayton has moved in to help to raise the 6-month-old Noah. I'm not going to read much more. I would be interested to know if you guys liked this one. I don't know much about the story, and I don't want to, because I really love her. The author on Twitter is fantastic. She seems so sweet. And when Kendra tells me to read something, I tend to do it. So that is Whiskey and Ribbons by Leesa Cross Smith. And sometimes you don't need to know a lot to know that you want to read a book. So as always, if you are a return subscriber, thank you so much. You know how much I appreciate you. If you are new to my channel, I hope you like some of these books. And for all of you, I hope they all make it on your TBR. Until next time, happy reading, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!